My grandparents used to tell me these fascinating stories about their experience go Bioskop at the King's Theatre in Alexandra. Bioskop in South Africa means cinema or film. Basically, my grandparents used to watch movies in the township. I can only imagine them being enchanted as the reels hiss in the background and the projector beams out pictures onto a wall. In that moment of cinema magic, a community is transported to a world of possibility that will influence how they imagine their own. In the 60s and 70s, cinema was thriving in South African townships. People would gather and indulge in conversations about the movie they had just seen. It was in 1983 at the King's Theatre in Alexandra, during a screening of Cry Freedom, that the theatre was bombed. Apartheid forces bombed the theatre, preventing a community from watching a movie about their own country. They destroyed the importance of gathering. They destroyed the possibility of any learning, connection, or community. Ever since then that the theatres were destroyed, movies have never been distributed in the townships ever again. And storytelling has the power to inform and influence how we see ourselves, how we understand the difference between where we are and where we are meant to be. And when an injustice like this occurs, it erases a lineage of stories about our heroes and our rich culture. Currently, lack of infrastructure and maintenance are at the top of the list as reason. But I have something to tell you about my people, about our own system of infrastructure sustainability, how we are able to convert a single space to be of multi-use and repurposing, and how we can bring back a culture of cinema goers back into the township through the system. In the African society we've been gathering for centuries, we would gather around a fire as a community to share stories, poems, and ideas to preserve culture. This fire we gather around, it is the same place where we cook our food. It is the same place where we find our warmth, and it is the same place where we learn about our heritage. Now, this culture of gathering still prevails in the township today. This is where a classroom is converted into a place of worship on Sundays, a place where our mothers learn how to cover us with prayers. On Wednesdays, this classroom turns into a boardroom where our community leaders can gather to figure out how we can grow. On Saturdays, this very classroom hosts our bodies during a traditional dance celebration. Now, imagine us in that very classroom, sitting together, the way that you guys are right now, and watching a movie. Imagine us, immersed and enchanted as the projector beams out pictures onto the wall of heroes who look just like us. Can you hear the "Hey!" every time a Thuso Mpedu, a Warren Masemola, or a Shaka Zulu appears on screen? Because this is how we express our pride. Imagine us getting to the end of a movie about our heroes who fought for our freedom. And as the credits roll, we break out in song. Oh, winila, abamazio, abakhange bambona, abakhange bambona. Ela Guicho, this song will escort us out into the quad, where we are going to meet leaders entrepreneurs from our community who will be filling up our bellies with chikori, diskopas, maotwana, inyama yenhloko. Yay, we are going to eat at our Bioskop. Our customs are treasures that we need to preserve at all times. And we can make film accessible to an undermined yet full of potential audience while making audiences available to filmmakers. Not long ago, we started encouraging African storytelling by African storytellers. That is taking place because I myself am a filmmaker, and I produced a documentary centered around exploring the teaching methods of sex education, especially in the township. Now, what is disappointing about this whole experience is that there is no way to distribute film. So the question becomes, who was I making it for if the people who are in it don't get to see it? How and when will we start having conversations about sex, art, politics, our lifestyle, or anything? How and when will we have conversations around female circumcision in Africa? If a filmmaker like Palesa Mashao doesn't have a platform to screen her film titled Lebollo, which is about the effect of female genital mutilation in South African rural areas, our reality. How and when will the kids chant Phambili if they have never seen heroes who look just like them on screen, inspiring them to move forward? There is a culture of sustainability that already exists within my community. And as people that often function from a place of lack, I want us to be inspired by our own way of living and create mentally transformative experiences that will leave us feeling like the haves. Starting is the scariest and hardest part, especially if you've been made to believe you have nothing. I'm here to tell you that we have way more than we need. My idea is to not only distribute films or to tell stories, but it's to create access to those that inspire the storytelling, us. And today, I want to leave you with this message, that our stories deserve to be told, and we are the ones who deserve to hear them, because cinema belongs in the township. Cinema belongs to us. Thank you.